All right. Welcome back, everybody. My name's Austin. Two big broadcasters, two big media giants, the Joe Rogan podcast and TD Ameritrade network, apparently they have a network, have been pushing cryptocurrency in the last 48 hours. I want to share with you both clips. TD Ameritrade pushing Bitcoin to their audience, and the Joe Rogan podcast pushing a very specific mid-cap altcoin to everybody that listens to the Joe Rogan podcast. Now, let's jump in mid-conversation as TD Ameritrade interviews Coindesk's own Noelle Acheson. So she's a correspondent and author at the popular news site Coindesk. Noelle is answering your two main questions. Number one, what is causing this recent Bitcoin sell-off, and what would cause the price of Bitcoin to go up? Let's jump in mid-answer, and fair warning, she talks fast.
It does. Bitcoin has sell-offs because it's less liquid than gold is, and the bonds are certainly. It also has a steady stream of new Bitcoins coming into the market. So unless new demand is coming in, then yes, there is going to be downward pressure on the price. What would make new demand come in? Perhaps some macro event, perhaps a change in sentiment, perhaps a shift of portfolios even. We just don't know. But as you know, you've been following this market for quite a while. You know it very well. It'll trade stable until suddenly it doesn't. And then the narrative becomes self-fulfilling. The narrative becomes about the price. People are suddenly asking each other the price all the time, and even those of us that don't check it every single day are suddenly checking it every 5 minutes. The price then becomes the story, and that comes and goes. That's what we saw in 2017. The price was the story. The fundamentals were irrelevant. That price is not the story today. The fundamentals are the story, and that is going to build a much wider acceptance and understanding of this new asset class.
All right. I like it. I appreciate that perspective. And that perspective is nothing that you didn't already know. The price is going down right now for reasons, and the price may go up in the short term for other reasons. Reasons that we talk about on this channel all the time. It seems like she was almost sick of answering the same questions over and over again. But I appreciate the perspective. The price is not the story today. The fundamentals are the story. The fundamentals are the story today. Everybody's focused on price. In the short term, anything could happen, but look at the fundamentals and tell me, I dare you, tell me that Bitcoin's fundamentals aren't stronger than they've ever been. But the question is why? Why is TD Ameritrade, who has a huge audience, probably not quite as big of an audience as the Joe Rogan podcast, but nonetheless have a huge audience, why are they advertising Bitcoin to their audience today? Always dig deeper. Always look for the true motive. And this channel will always go that extra step. We will always bring you the true motive to the best of my knowledge. But TD Ameritrade, in this case, it's no secret. This was huge news 6+ months ago, but TD Ameritrade offers Bitcoin futures to their clientele. So it's not a way to own Bitcoin, but it's a way to manipulate Bitcoin. Before we get to Joe Rogan, let's finish up the clip where the anchor asks Noelle directly, hey, if the fundamentals are stronger than ever, why are searches, the Google searches for Bitcoin down, and why are people continuing to take a chance on Bitcoin?
Here's the catch that I still run into when I think about this, though, Noelle, is because price has played such a role, we look at Bitcoin interest, Bitcoin searches, Bitcoin news interest. I've got a chart from Bloomberg that tracks news stories on Bitcoin that has flatlined, and even with the rally this year, is still fractional compared to the big price explosion. Some of the use cases for Bitcoin, namely that store of value case, does require adoption, it does require belief, and if the thing just keeps crashing after every move higher, does it reduce the pool of people who are willing to take a chance on it?
It requires belief, but it depends by whom. Does it require belief by the broader market in the eventual use case? Perhaps, but that depends what you think the use case is going to be. Does it need to be used as a payment mechanism to be accepted as a store of value by the market? I would say probably not. Is it a store of value today, given its volatility, when we do have other options in the market? Again, probably not, but most of us that are investing in Bitcoin, and I confess that I have a small holding myself, disclosure, we're investing in it because we believe it's going to be a store of value tomorrow. Right now, it perhaps doesn't have the fundamentals for that, but we're not investing in that today, we're investing in it for tomorrow.
I like it. To me, this analysis seemed fair, it seemed informative, and I appreciate mainstream financial news outlets taking the time and talking about Bitcoin. You tell me what you think. If you have an opinion, leave it down below in the comments and like the video. I would appreciate it. It would really support me, help the channel grow. But next piece of news, Joe Rogan introduced this altcoin to the masses on the podcast. I'm just going to play it. You're going to figure out right away. This went out to the masses.
Hello, friends. This episode of the podcast is brought to you by Brave. Brave is the web browser reimagined. It's a next-generation web browser. Brave is pioneering a better internet with privacy by default, and that begins with giving you back control over who has access to your online activity. And Blaze is fast, performing up to 8 times faster than the competitors, saving you battery life and reducing data costs. And Brave's browser stops trackers and creepy ads that are following you.
All right, you get it. He goes on for like 90 more seconds about the details of basic attention token. I'm not going to, well, actually just a little bit more.
But it's faster and it doesn't have the annoying ads or the creepy behavioral tracking. And if you opt in to Brave ads, you get rewarded with tokens, which you can use to support content creators, or you can access premium content. You can use your rewards to easily tip your favorite content creators in Brave, and their goal is to fix the web, improve privacy, and give publishers back their fair share of web revenue. Listeners of the podcast can easily download Brave right now. Go to brave.com/Rogan and switch to Brave today. That's brave.com/Rogan. We're also brought to you by Dollar Shave Club.
Very cool. Honestly, very cool to see on such a mainstream for me. For me, this is mainstream. This is the Carson. This is the Howard Stern of today. About a cryptocurrency, an altcoin that I really like. Honestly, look at brave.com/Rogan. Welcome, Joe Rogan Experience listeners. Download Brave. This is bullish. Really bullish for basic attention token. Anyway, let me know what you think. I'm a huge fan of Joe Rogan. But let's keep going. Let's get to some actual news. An anonymous fund plans to invest and donate $75 million in Bitcoin to startups working to enhance privacy. I like this. Some people were Bitcoin rich. They invested big back in the day. They had this extra money, and they're saying they're going to reward. If you're working on privacy, they want to help fund that. The specific group is called the Unknown Fund. I'm going to show you their website in a second. But announcing news on Wednesday, the Unknown Fund said it would prefer to invest in startups working on 4 niches: personal data protection, tools for online anonymity, cryptocurrencies, and blockchain. If your startup is working on this, then they might invest in you. Now, the fund's website does not offer much information except a quote from Edward Snowden, which says, "It is not data that's being exploited, it's people that are being exploited." And then it gives an email address where startups can apply to get an investment or donation. Now, I've pulled the website. This is it. Pretty basic. Goes over the similar stuff. And right at the bottom is an email address. Hit them up if your startup does this. But pretty interesting to see people using their Bitcoin for things that they think are going to help humanity. And the last piece of news, before I clue you in on what I'm doing this weekend, I want to hear what you're doing this weekend. But last piece of news, Telegram. Remember, the SEC just shut down their Gram token before it launched, shut down their Gram token. Well, Telegram is fighting back, and they have recently denied almost every single allegation in the latest court response. So this was their response to the SEC. The company, Telegram, was quick to establish when they were cooking all this up, when they were developing Gram token, they were quick to establish the fact that there was a lack of regulatory clarity that would clearly prove that their actions violated federal securities laws. So they're saying, we didn't violate anything. There's not clear guidelines for any of this. And furthermore, Telegram states that the plaintiff, the SEC, has engaged in improper regulation of enforcement in the nascent area of the law. Yes, so they're saying the SEC is illegally regulating them. They're turning it back on the SEC. And Telegram, the company, also states that the company voluntarily engaged with the SEC to gain regulatory insight almost 2 years ago, which was followed by regular communications. The company's goal was to avoid problems such as this and that the SEC not only failed to provide regulatory guidance, but also did not provide any warning that would prevent the company from moving forward with its plans to hold a token sale. So they were saying they were in this is their side of the story, but they're saying they were in regular communication. The SEC dropped no hints, no warnings. They just shut it down recently, and now it's a fight to the bitter end. So, you know what? I hope, you know what I hope. I hope Telegram comes through, but we'll see. But anyway, that's the video for today. My name's Austin. Hit the like button. I would really appreciate it. It would really help the channel grow. And I guess this weekend, we're based in LA, as you know. I'll be hanging out with one buddy tonight. Probably hit up the Comedy Store right in West Hollywood. I don't know, bar hop. If you see me out there, say hi. But, going to Redondo Beach tomorrow. Things to do. Let me know what you're doing, and see you tomorrow.